Hi guys, wee Bob here, and this is my response to Kev down the rabbit hole. He's been kind enough to ask me some questions, which was very nice of him. It made me feel included and special. Anyway, no, I really appreciate it. It's nice to be singled out and asked some questions, obviously, because that's just nice. Anyway, the first question is, what is the first video game that you remember playing? For me, it was Haunted Hedges, a game where you're getting traced around some hedges that are haunted by ghosts, because that's what ghosts do. They tend to haunt people. I think that's what they do anyway. I've never met one. Anyway, that was the first video game I remember playing. The next kind of memory I have was of my grandpa, or I called him Papa, and he was kind of ahead of his time. He had a Spectrum with big keys, and he did like financial stuff on it from memory. But he also liked his games. I don't really remember any games specifically. I just remember him being the kind of cool Papa because he was into computers and computers were cool. Next memory is we're really kind of into the Master System days when I used to play games with my mates a lot. But in terms of the Spectrum, obviously over the years, swapped games. Because I was late 70s kid, so by the time I've really getting my memories, were kind of getting close to 16-bit era. So the Spectrum was in my life for a while, but we're kind of near 16-bit era where the Mega Drive came in, and that leads me into some of my later responses, which I'll hold off on just now. So the next question Kev's got is arcades in my local area. So very, very similar. It's almost the exact same story that Mainmeister has. There was no arcades in my local area. The most local thing was a leisure centre, and in the leisure centre you used to go in and they had a little room that said arcade games above it, from what I can remember. I remember Outrun, I remember the Turtles game, I remember the Simpsons game being there, and yeah, just that was my experience. I didn't have a lot of money to go play those games, and yeah, just that is it. It's just a local leisure centre, so if I happened to have some money, it would go into them. In terms of going away, we used to go down to a caravan site in the Lake District of England, and they obviously had a lot of arcade machines as well, but I don't have any memories of it. I remember I used to enjoy playing the 2p machines with a slider that goes back and forward and pushes the 2p's off the ledge. That would mean my sister used to save up all her coins for that 2p's, and it would be gone within the first hour because obviously those machines are designed to not give you anything. But that was the fun of it. That was the fun of having 2p's stored up. Next question. So yeah, I actually, on the arcade one, I did actually film where my old arcade used to be, but I've never actually released that video. And like I've said previously, I've got all this footage that I've never actually uploaded to my channel, and unlikely to now because the art channel's just crazy busy at the moment with a kind of video every week, which means there's going to be a drawing every week. I'll leave a link to my art videos in case anybody's interested in art. So the next question Kev was asking was about the Alien Isolation Christopher Odd playthrough. I loved Christopher Odd's playthrough of Alien Isolation. It was so funny, and because of the humour it took away some of the horror aspects as a viewer. You could almost laugh at him being chased by the alien. For me, horror games are kind of in the no-no pile. I don't get near gaming in any way, shape or form just now as it is. I don't get near games. I draw and then I edit and then I draw and then I edit because that's my life at the moment. But in terms of games, I tend to steer clear of horror games because I just don't cope well with them. In terms of recent times, I have played Days Gone, which was zombies and horror, but it was kind of open world and it wasn't overly scary. But I wouldn't go near like a horror game to do with supernatural stuff because it's just not my thing. That's the kind of thing that freaks me out. So yeah. So horror games, no, not my thing. I would watch a playthrough, probably mostly because I like to see people getting scared. Even though I don't like getting scared myself, but I like people who are willing to put themselves out there, get a fright, and then you get to see their reaction. which is fun. So on to the big question, and this is one of the ones that is completely a different kettle of fish for me now, and that is, do subscribers matter? Now on my channel here, where I'm posting this video, I did a video a while back on a few things. Do subscribers matter? And should you schedule YouTube around your life? And clearly that's changed for me. At that time, subscribers, it was nice to have subscribers, and scheduling YouTube only if well, for no reason. There was no really reason to schedule YouTube. I'm in a different position now. I decided to start an art channel back in early March. Sorry, it was July 2020. And the reason I did that is because on my normal channel here, I seen that the artwork was getting some views. People were liking it. It wasn't the best. But I thought, okay, why not make a dedicated channel to that just to see how it goes, because my initial plan was kind of a business plan. So in 20 years time, I'm going to not have a job anymore, and I need money to survive then. So my initial plan was, let's post artwork, and then you've got a portfolio of artwork that you can potentially sell prints of and bring in a small amount of money. Now, that was fine. That was me plodding away, getting into a few YouTube communities about artwork. And then recently what happened is YouTube actually started picking up one of my videos. So my video of Jaws, the Jaws movie poster, started getting a lot of views. Not a massive amount of views, and I know that Kevin, I've actually looked at Kevin's analytics because that's a big thing for me now, but he's got like over 1 million views, I think, on his channel, and it's unbelievable. He's got like 2.8k subscribers, which is brilliant. But then to have 1 million views, it's a crazy amount of views. I think he's even bypassed Alan Mainmeister's views, and I don't know whether Kevin knows that. I'm presuming he does. But the fact that he's got over 1 million views is just mental. And I think what, as a small YouTuber, you find it very difficult. You plod away, you don't get much exposure. And if you do make a niche channel, which is what Kevin was talking about, somebody might recognise you, your opinion might become more valuable to people as you grow. Now, I don't have a lot of subscribers over on my art channel, but I know that I am equaling the views at the moment of a channel that would have about 20 to 30,000 subscribers. So for me, it's a game changer. I've now realised that it's possible for me not to just have the 30 views on YouTube, and that this could become some way of making money for when I retire. And that's my kind of plan, is I've now got a 10-year plan, and for 5 years the plan's to post one video every week on YouTube of artwork or tutorials, with the intention to monetize the channel to bring in a secondary income. And if it goes bigger, happy days. If it doesn't, then I can get an idea of how am I going to live when YouTube, or when my job's no longer here, or if I get injured at work, or if something happens with my job, is there a way I can diversify my income? And that's where the art channel really is. It's about me providing, if I can give people some sort of learning, if I can give people some sort of value and teach them something, and in turn YouTube pay me for advertisements, or a brand comes in and says, okay, here's a tablet, if you sell any of these you'll get money. It might seem like selling out, and it did for me for many years, but now it doesn't. Now it seems to me that that's just, I think YouTube's going to go down the road of monetizing everybody's channel, or putting adverts on everybody's channel. And the reason for, I think that is because they need to make money. They can't just have you having a server here that costs them money that they cannot capitalize on. So I think going forward with TikTok challenging them when they've brought in this thing called Shorts, I think they're going to really step up the mark on adverts. So do subscribers matter to me? Yes, they do. Anyway, that got awfully serious. But yes, subscribers matter to me because it's a way for me to teach people. I mean, initially it's like whenever I'm going to YouTube, I'm going and I'm finding somebody who can teach me something, and it's an amazing thing, and I'm really thankful to that person for teaching me it. So from my point of view, I know that I have got some training that I've had over the years, some skills I've had to pick up, and I can potentially teach somebody, especially if homeschooling becomes a bit more norm, or if we were to have another virus that caused an outbreak and homeschooling is required. If you as a parent can go onto YouTube and find somebody like myself, and I can teach your child how to do something, then that's get value to it, and therefore my value, for the value from my point of view, is that I potentially get an ad revenue from YouTube who pay me because I'm teaching somebody something that they need to know. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion. It's totally changed, completely changed from what it was previously, and I'm now very much on the route of what YouTube should be from a business point of view. Anyway, so the next question Kev had was retro games where art was involved, and he gave an example of a game that I've never heard. I had to go and Google it to see, and it was very arty. And yes, I like art, but am I into the kind of art movement and this art and that art? No, yes. So the question of retro game art, or games that were art-y or arty, how do you say that? I hated all that stuff to do with art back in school, to do with expressionism, and never really made any sense to me. A lot of it still doesn't. Games that I know of that really impacted me, one was Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was just the colour of the graphics, the artwork, him jumping out of the kind of start sequence captured my imagination at the time of the age I was. I was like totally blown away by how this was possible on the screen in my house. And then there was also Echo the Dolphin, and Echo the Dolphin still to this day feels like it doesn't feel like a video game. And I know that Alan Mainmeister doesn't have much love for Echo the Dolphin, but I loved Echo the Dolphin. It was in the Mean Machines at the time, they loved it, and I just remember that start music. And so for me, Echo the Dolphin's one of the most artistic games that ever existed in terms of the emotions that it evokes with the music. And it might not be a great game for some people, but for me it was a journey. It was like a building up an emotion. So what else did I write? From a kind of purely artistic point of view, Comic Zone is clearly an art-based game where you're trying to get through the comic strips, and for a lot of people that might have been some sort of inspiration for them. I can't really come up with anything that was particularly arty from that. Flower, maybe, on the PlayStation something. I remember that came out as very art-like. And there's a lot of art games nowadays, especially the kind of Little Nightmare, I think it's called. It's got a certain look to it. It's very art-based, and there's a lot of other games like that. So anyway, those are my answers. It might not be the most exciting thing in the world, and I'm going to have to go and review all this and try and edit it. I might just put it to the beach because I spent some time down there today, and I hope everybody's well. I really do. I'm sorry for not being on this channel much. So I had to come back and say cheerio. The camera ran out of footage, so cheers guys. Thank you so much to Kev down the rabbit hole. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. Go check him out. He has got such a variety of content and such like something for everybody. And some of it's just so out of the world that you wouldn't believe it. It really is. I love watching Kev's channel. Sometimes I've got to catch up with it, and I'm still going back and looking at videos that he produced years and years ago. So it's kind of my go-to place if I'm struggling for a video. I know Kev's going to have something that's there for me to go watch, because he's always doing interesting whiskies, or he's doing stuff to do with chess, or he's doing, can you set powdered milk on fire, which I think is the video that took off for his channel. So yeah, definitely go check out Kev down the rabbit hole. I hope everybody's well. Swifto, especially to you. I've not spoke to you in a while. I miss your rambles, I really do. Anyway, to everybody out there who watches this, I appreciate it. And thanks, and wee Bob is out. Bye.